my name is Bhakti and welcome to our YouTube channel Education Fantasy. Today we are going to start with a new chapter for CBSE Board Standard 7th, that is Nutrition in Plants. So this chapter is basically very easy if you understand the basic concepts behind every theory which is included in this chapter. Okay, so now let's start. What is basically nutrition? So nutrition is a word which has been derived from the word nutrients. Okay, now what are nutrients? For example, we normally say that we take carbohydrates, we take proteins, we take vitamins, we take fats, right? We include all this in our day-to-day speech. So what are these? These are basically nutrients. That means nutrients is a one word which can be used for all these components. Which components? Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, etc. Okay, so they are called as nutrients. But the act of taking in these nutrients and trying to use it inside our body to perform various metabolic activities and for the development of the body is called as nutrition. In very simple words, taking these nutrients inside and using it, which is used. These nutrients are used by the body, right? So that act is called as nutrition. In nutrition, we see two types of nutrition. One is autotrophic nutrition and the second one is heterotrophic nutrition. Now what is autotrophic nutrition? In the word autotrophic, auto means self. That means that particular organism can prepare its food by its own. It does not depend on any other organism. So the meaning of the word auto is self. Okay? So it will prepare its food by its own. Next type is heterotrophic. So hetero over here means others. That means these organisms will depend on other organisms for their food. They can't prepare their own food. They have no mechanism to prepare their own food. Understood? So these two types of modes of nutrition are there. This is a broad classification. Okay. Now since this chapter is related to plants, we will come to photosynthesis. Because photosynthesis is a process which is taken up in plants for its nutrition. Now how? See, plant has many other parts which are specialized, which are created in such a way that they will perform specific functions. For example, a plant has roots. Why does it has roots? Because so that it can absorb all the nutrients and they can absorb all the minerals and water from the soil, because soil has all the minerals and water. But how will the plant take in? Plant will take in by using its roots. Roots are in the ground. They will absorb all the water and minerals, right? Now only absorbing will not do, because these water and minerals are basically required for the whole plant. But root does not have that mechanism that it will click a button and all the water and minerals will go up. No. So for that purpose we have stem. Even stems are green in color. Okay. Inside the stem there are certain channels. Now these, for basic understanding, you can take it as there are pipelines. Through these pipelines, the water and minerals will be taken from the roots and it will be distributed in all the other plants. Okay. So here, those vessels which carry the water, they are called as xylem. What are they called? They are called as xylem. Understood? Now, what about leaves? Leaf is actually the main part where the food gets synthesized. Okay? How? Because leaf has chlorophyll in it. What is chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is nothing but a green colored pigment which is used in the process of photosynthesis. Okay? Now let us write down the basic requirements of photosynthesis. What are the basic requirements of photosynthesis? I will need CO2. CO2, that is carbon dioxide. Plus I will need water. H2O is water. And in presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. Okay, I will get my carbohydrates, which is the food for plants, and oxygen. Okay. Okay. Now we'll see from where all these comes. First, let's take CO2, carbon dioxide. From where does carbon dioxide come inside the plant? We all know that human beings take in oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. So all the carbon dioxide which is given out by human beings is already present in the atmosphere, right? Now this CO2 is taken up by the leaves, okay? Small pores are present through which CO2 enters inside the leaves, okay? Now let's go to water. From where does water come? As we discussed, roots will absorb all the water and they will that water will be sent to leaves. Okay, so we got CO2, we got H2O. Now from where does chlorophyll come? Chlorophyll is already present inside the leaf. Okay, so that is a ready stuff for us. We don't need to take chlorophyll from anywhere. Sunlight. Sun is the open source of energy for the entire earth. So sunlight will be taken up by leaves as it is. Okay. And when all this gets combined, okay, a particular number of steps takes place, and after that we get carbohydrates. Now don't get confused. Carbohydrates is nothing here. It is just food. Okay. What we actually want, for what we were collecting all these, we wanted our food to be prepared. So we got our food, plus oxygen is also released over here as a byproduct. What do you mean by byproduct? Because जो food है, that is our main product that we wanted, or we were doing all this to get our food. So that is your main product. But other than main product, if you're forming something, then that is called as a byproduct. So oxygen is over here a byproduct. Okay. So we have two benefits over here. Food bhi ho gaya for plants, and they are giving out oxygen which we are breathing in. Okay, which is very necessary for our life. So this was the entire process for photosynthesis. Okay. Now why is this called as photosynthesis? Because photo means light. Okay. And synthesis means to prepare. Okay. A process in which light is used to prepare something. Something means what? Food. That is called as your photosynthesis. Understood? Now let's come to other point, that is other components which are formed. That is proteins and fats. Now we say that we want carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins. Then even plants want them, right? They even want proteins and fats. They have just prepared carbohydrates. But proteins and fats kahan se laenge? Because they don't have very complex mechanism to prepare proteins and fats. So what will they do? See, carbohydrates ka formula is CH2O, and outside the bracket we get N over here. N is the number of carbons. You don't need to worry. Just keep in mind that carbohydrates are made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. Right? C, H and O. Carbon, hydrogen and oxygen make up carbohydrates. But what about proteins? This is the general formula for proteins. Don't look over here. Just keep in mind that proteins will have carbon, it will have hydrogen, it will have oxygen, and even it will have nitrogen. But we don't have nitrogen in this whole thing. Like we prepared only carbohydrates now. So we were having carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, but we are not having nitrogen. So from where will the nitrogen come over here? It will come. How? Because plants do not have the mechanism like they took carbon dioxide, they cannot take nitrogen. They don't have that mechanism to take up nitrogen from the atmosphere. Jabki nitrogen is present in a very large amount in the atmosphere. Right? So what can be done over here? Okay. So these plants have some organisms which live inside the ground, in the soil. These are called as nitrogen fixing bacteria. nitrogen fixing bacteria. Okay, so what will these bacteria do? These bacteria will take up nitrogen from the atmosphere and it will convert that nitrogen in such a way that plants will be able to take up or to absorb that nitrogen. Okay, so they are called as nitrogen fixing bacteria. So these bacteria basically will help the plants to take up nitrogen. Why? Because यहाँ पे नाइट्रोजन फिक्सिंग बैक्टीरिया ने नाइट्रोजन को थोड़ा चेंज किया इन सच अ वे दैट प्लांट्स कैन टेक इट. Understood? So next part we will see in the next video. If you have any doubts, please place them in the comment section. I will definitely try to solve all the questions. Please subscribe our channel and do hit the like button and share if you like it. And do not forget to click the bell icon for further updates. Thank you.